Hi, I'm Claire Kerslake from clairekerslake.com. Today I wanted to talk about the dangers of sitting, the incredible advantages for our health and our weight of reversing that, and practical strategies on how we can do that. Let's look at that now. I've recently read two books by Dr. James Levine. They were Move a Little, Lose a Lot, and the second one was Get Up, Why Your Chair is Killing You and What You Can Do About It. Dr. Levine's an endocrinologist and researcher who spent over 20 years researching human movement, obesity and metabolism. In the books he talks about NEAT, or non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's a huge mouthful, so I'll just call it NEAT. And it's basically the calories that we burn through the day. So all of us know our health and our weight has undergone a huge shift society-wide over the last 20, 30, 40 years. So we're much bigger than we used to be. So for instance, Dr. Levine talks about the average American today compared to in the late 60s, early 70s. Today the average American weighs 26 pounds more, so significant, almost a stone, and Australians wouldn't be far behind that. And there's lots of drivers obviously for that, but one of the big things is the reduction of calories through the day, because many of us are sitting far too much. So for instance, let's talk about calories for a minute. And when we talk about our weight, I know it's much more than calories in, calories out, but we're talking about significant hundreds of calories here. So if I do a hard gym session, for instance, I know how hard I have to work to burn 200 or 300 calories off. But in fact, if you take the typical person who sits a lot at work, comes home, perhaps commutes to work, and also comes home and leisure activity, might be watching a lot of television, etc. The difference in calories burned between them and someone who has got quite a physically demanding job can be 2,000 calories in a day. Quite incredible. And for many of us, as I say, we're spending far too long sitting and not enough time active. And as an example in terms of calories burned, if we're sitting, we burn about 5 calories an hour. If we stand doing those tasks, we triple that to about 15 calories an hour. And if we're walking, let's say we're walking just at a real slow pace, about a mile an hour, we burn an amazing 100 calories an hour, a huge difference over a day. Dr. Levine also talks about the negative effects of sitting. They're really sobering. But I invite you to hang around, because just by moving through the day, doesn't have to be strenuous exercise at all, you can reverse that, and it's very protective. For instance, he talks about the risk of dying of heart disease is 3 times higher between those who sit the most and those who sit the least. Prolonged sitting doubles our risk for metabolic syndrome, which is a collection of things such as high cholesterol, high blood pressure, collection of weight around the tummy, increased risk of diabetes and of course heart disease. He talks about every hour that you spend sitting decreases your life expectancy by 22 minutes. But there is some good news. If we are more active through the day, for instance, there was a study in Italy that took men and women over the age of 65. Now, those who were the most active through their day decreased the risk of Alzheimer's by 30%. Incredible. So we've heard about the results of sitting too much for a little while now, but in fact when Dr. Levine first released the results of his study, he was held down, absolutely derided. And I can remember being really surprised by the results. But it's incredible, some of his research, and I'm not going to link to the research. He's outlined it very clearly in his book, the different studies that he's conducted, etc. Now, in one of the studies, and this is where the exciting part of just moving more during the day, it was a study, and I mentioned Dr. Levine's interest in obesity, where they took 16 volunteers. Dr. Levine was actually one of them, And they overfed them by 1,000 calories every single day. It was very precise, and to the tune of 56,000 calories over the course of the study. And then they tracked people's weight and lots of different things. And some people put on the whole amount in weight, and some people put on nothing. And they thought, what is the difference? What is the key here? And what they found was that the people who put on hardly anything naturally moved a lot through the day. Not formal exercise, none of the volunteers in the study exercised formally, but it's just how active they were in the day. So absolutely incredible. What Dr. Levine did was he invented special underwear that tracked people's movement every half a second through the day. Absolutely unbelievable. And for instance, in another study, they took lean volunteers and obese volunteers. The difference between the lean volunteers and the obese volunteers was that the obese people sat for 2.5 hours more in it every single day. So this stuff makes a difference. I believe, in fact, it's a secret weapon against obesity. We hear over and over again, diets don't work, you put all the weight back on. I think one of the hidden secrets is this moving through the day, because it's to the tune of hundreds and hundreds of calories. It's not 100 or 200 calories. It's many hundreds of calories. So just in summary, we know that prolonged sitting is really, really harmful. Many of us sit all day. We might sit driving to work, and I'm one of them. I have to drive 80 minutes in a day to and from work, and I know that many people drive much more than that. I have days where I literally sit most of the day. I come home, obviously get onto the computer. Many people spend hours in a day watching television, so we're all sitting far too much. Devastating effects on our health. But the protective effects just from getting up and moving through the day are absolutely incredible. So you don't have to hit the gym. Formal exercise is very important, absolutely has a place. But this is just about being more active through the day. So let's look at practically how we incorporate this in our lives. And I've certainly been guilty of paying this lip service. Yes, we need to be more active. And lo and behold, I still keep sitting at work. I'm not walking my talk. The first step is to be more aware of what we're doing. And I've come up with a worksheet that will help you work through this and incorporate this into your life. So just bring your awareness to how much sitting you are doing and whether there are any activities in the day where you can be more active. As an example in my life, I can, stand up during some meetings. We can perhaps ask our bosses, or we can organise walking meetings instead of sitting down. In my lunch break now, instead of sitting and perhaps having a read of my Kindle, I'll get up and pace around the lawn. If I'm working on the computer, I look at where I can stand, and standing desks are fantastic for this. And I also look at where I can pace as well. And some people get treadmill desks for just at a very low speed, looking at 1 mile an hour, makes a huge difference over the day. So I invite you to just bring your awareness to some of the things that you're doing in the day. How many hours are you spending watching television or surfing the internet? If you're taking the kids to their activities, are you sitting watching them? Or perhaps can you pace up and down the sidelines? If you're doing any reading, can you stand or perhaps pace around? Obviously you need to be safe, but how can you incorporate that gentle movement through the day? As I say, I've got a downloadable PDF to help you work through that. To bring some awareness to how much neat activity you are doing in the day, how much you're sitting, and what's some steps that you can do to reverse that. Don't be like me and pay lip service and not do anything. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'd love for you to head on over to the blog where you can download the worksheet, and looking forward to hearing how you go.